Beings are multicellular organisms. They intake complex food like rice, bread, etc. The digestion that begins in the human beings in alimentary canal. So what is alimentary canal, children? The passage of food from mouth to anus through a tube-like structure called alimentary canal. How much does it long, children? The alimentary canal is 9 meters long, that is from esophagus to anus. And the various organs that involved in the human digestive system are during the digestion are mouth. In the picture I am showing with the red mark, here is the mouth, and the next part is the after the mouth is esophagus. So in the picture I am showing with the red mark, this esophagus, it is also called as the food pipe. The next, stomach. So in the picture I am showing with red mark, stomach, this is stomach. And the next, small intestine. In the picture I am showing, this is the small intestine. So it is the small intestine. And next is the large intestine. In the picture I am showing with the red mark, large intestine. This is large intestine. And next, rectum and anus. So in the picture I am showing rectum. Here is the rectum, and next one is the anus. This is the last part of the alimentary canal. And along with the various organs which involved in the human digestive system, some of the glands are also associated in the digestion. So those glands are salivary glands. There are three types salivary glands. Here in the picture I am showing salivary glands. This is one type, this is the second one, and this is the third one. These are the three types of salivary glands which are present in the buccal cavity. So these salivary glands are parotid glands, submandibular glands, and sublingual glands, which helps in the secretion of saliva during the beginning of the digestion of food in the mouth. And next is liver and pancreas. So in the picture I am showing, here is the liver with the red mark I am showing. This is the liver, and this is the yellow shaped organ which food, children. It means the food which we put in the mouth, if it contains starch in it, it is called as complex organic food, which is going to be digested during the process of digestion. It means breakdown into the simpler molecules during the process of digestion. That is called complex organic food. And the next process followed with the ingestion is digestion. So what is digestion, children? It means the breakdown of complex food into the simpler form is called digestion. This digestion of food begins in the mouth itself first. So in the mouth there are two types of digestion that takes place, that is physical digestion and chemical digestion. When we put the food into the mouth, the teeth cut the food into small pieces and chew and grind it. This type of digestion is physical digestion. And then next, the salivary glands that produce saliva, which contains an enzyme called salivary amylase, which digests the starch into sugar. This is called chemical digestion. So I already told that the salivary glands and some of the glands are next associated during the digestion of food. So these salivary glands are present in the buccal cavity. See in the picture I am showing with the red mark. So these are the salivary glands in this region. The salivary glands are present. These salivary glands are of three types: parotid glands, submaxillary glands, and sublingual glands, which are mainly responsible for the secretion of saliva, which contains an enzyme called salivary amylase that breaks down the saliva starch into sugar. And next, one more part that is involved in the digestion of food in the mouth, that is tongue. The tongue is a muscular organ which helps in mixing the food with the saliva. and it also turns the food into soft and bolus, which will be easily helpful for the swallowing of the food, so that the saliva, this tongue helps in the mixing of food. So that is process called mastication. The process called mastication of food. The partially digested food from mouth is then passes to a organ called esophagus. It is also called as food pipe. Once the food after partially digested, once the food enters into the food pipe, the muscles of the food pipe holds the food and pushes down by contracting and relaxing. This type of movements are called peristaltic movements. Once you look at the uh, animation, so here when the partially digested food, when it passes from mouth to esophagus, the esophagus containing muscles holding the food and pushing down by contracting and relaxing movements. This movements is called peristaltic movements. So now I am showing you with the red mark, that is called peristaltic movements. So that peristaltic movements, that process is called peristalsis. Then afterwards, the food from the food pipe, it passes to the organ called stomach. The food from the mouth to, it passes to esophagus. From the esophagus to, it passes to the stomach. The stomach is a J-shaped organ that present on the left side of the abdomen. See children, in the picture I am showing, this is the left side. In the picture I am showing that this is the left side. So of the stomach, it is a J-shaped organ which is present on the left side of the abdomen. So see how it is. It is looks like same J shape. So this, the inner lining of this stomach wall secretes a gland that is called gastric gland. This gastric gland secretes a juice called gastric juice. This gastric juice consists of three substances. What are those three substances, children? It is HCl, pepsin, it is an enzyme, and mucus. So what is the use of the hydrochloric acid in the stomach, children? This hydrochloric acid in the stomach helps in the killing of germs which are present in the food, and also helps in the uh, turning of food into acidic medium. Helps in making the food into acidic medium, which facilitates the action of the different enzyme like pepsin. Here the enzyme is present, that is pepsin. So when the food is in acidic medium, then only the pepsin enzyme is can able to act on the food for the partial digestion of the proteins. So here the HCl mainly helpful for the killing of germs which are present in the food, as well as it turns the food into acidic medium to facilitate the action of the enzyme pepsin for the breaking down of proteins which are present in the food. And the mucus, what is the use of the mucus, children? This mucus protects the inner lining of the stomach, when the HCl, and it also prevents the over releasing of hydrochloric acid in the stomach. If the hydrochloric acid releases more in the stomach, this mucus will protect and it prevents the over releasing of the hydrochloric acid in the stomach, and it also prevents the inner lining of the stomach from spoiling. So this is how these three substances that acts on the food from after the uh, food passes from from the mouth to the esophagus and then to stomach. And next, from here, now the food is passes from the stomach to small intestine. Now, the partially digested food from the stomach, it enters into the small intestine. So in the picture I am showing that with the red mark, this is the small intestine. This small intestine is 6 meters long, highly coiled tube-like structure. It is a 6 meters long, highly coiled tube-like structure which is longer than large intestine, but its lumen is smaller than large intestine. See children, it is longer than large intestine. Small intestine is longer than large intestine. But even though we are calling it is a small intestine, why we are calling that it is a small intestine? Because its lumen. It is because due to the lumen, due to the smaller lumen, we are calling this one is the small intestine. Why lumen? Nothing is nothing but the width of the tube, highly coiled tube. The width of this tube. I am showing with the in the picture with the red mark. See here, this is the width of the tube. That width due to the uh, very less width in the tube, so that we are calling it is a small intestine rather than calling as a large intestine. So and this small intestine is divided into three parts. They are duodenum, jejunum, and the third part is ileum. They are nothing but duodenum, jejunum, and they convert the nutrients into the different like proteins, amino acids. They break down the larger molecules into smaller molecules, which are easily absorbed by the small intestine. The partially digested food from the stomach, it enters into the small intestine. The small intestine is already divided into three parts, that is duodenum, ileum, and I told that. So in the duodenum, when the food when the food format into the small intestine, into the duodenum, here the bile juice and pancreatic juice, the bile juice from the liver and the pancreatic juice from the pancreas, they get releases and acts on the partially digested food, and then they break down the fats which are present in that food into smaller particles. These fats are mm, in the form of larger globules, in the form of larger globules in the food. So those fats are going to be break down into smaller particles. So that process is called emulsification of fats. And in the same way, after the action of this bile juice and pancreatic juice, this pancreatic juice contains different types of enzymes like lipase and amylase and trypsin and chymotrypsin. I already discussed it in the previous slide. So after that, again another enzyme like lipase that digests the fats into fatty acids and glycerol. So after the breakdown of fats, an enzyme called lipase that acts on that fat, smaller particle of fat, and which is digested, which digests into fatty acids and glycerol. So these fatty acids and glycerols are easily absorbed into the the small intestine. And next the enzyme is trypsin. This trypsin digests proteins which are present in the food, and they turn the proteins into amino acids. And chymotrypsin digests the carbohydrates, which is a complex molecule, and convert that into glucose, that is a simple molecule. When these enzymes acts on the food, whatever the nutrients which are complex, they converted into the simpler forms, which is going to be absorbed very easily in the small intestine. And next part, after the food, after the action of the next, the food is passes into the another part of the small intestine, that is ileum. Here the absorption of food takes place. In this here in ileum is the it is the major part where the absorption of food is takes place in the small intestine. It is the lower part of the small intestine, and here this in the ileum part, the inner lining of the ileum part is projected with the finger-like structures called villi. Sorry, here one mistake is there, that is jejunum. It is not jejunum, it is the ileum. The inner wall of the ileum is projected with the finger-like structures called villi. This villi, what are villi? Villi are nothing but villi are the finger-like structures. They are lined inside the ileum or small intestine, and which increases the surface area and helps in the absorption of food. So it is the place where the major absorption of food takes place in the small intestine. So after the nutrients which are present in the food are going to be broken down into the simpler forms, those simpler forms of nutrients are absorbed in the villi due to the presence of the villi. Here, it increases surface area and helps in absorption of the food. See, in the picture I am showing that these are the they are the finger-like projections which are which are lined inside the ileum or small intestine. So here, these are the picture I am showing. These are the epithelial cells are lined to Hello students, welcome to Teja Online Tutorials. In the previous video, we were holozoic nutrition in different animals like in paramecium and in amoeba. So in this video, we are going to discuss about holozoic nutrition in human beings. Human beings are multicellular organisms. Yeah, they intake complex food like rice, butter. The digestion that begins in the human beings in alimentary canal. So what is alimentary canal, children? Of food from mouth to anus through a tube-like structure called alimentary canal. How much does it long, children? The alimentary canal is 9 meters long